guys, welcome back to the 1080 Fightcast, back from break. So we're going to talk about this very contractually obligated fight night card that the UFC is putting on, and that's what I call the ones that are just like
the first of the year where it's like, y'all motherfuckers need to do something.
There's a meme in the like film, people who like watch movies a lot and love movies. It's called "Fuck You, It's January," and it's like, you know, you want to go see movies, but fuck you, it's January. There's no movies there. Yeah. Only shitty movies get released into theaters in January, and that's how I feel about this fight card. It's just like, UFC, I want a decent fight card. Fuck you, it's January, you know?
Just be grateful there's another Saturday again.
But we had a great holiday break here. We've got some big things on the horizon for 2023 with both Hometown Martial Arts and the podcast. So lots of things in the fire, lots of things that will be coming on the horizon, but today it's all about the UFC for the most part. I think there's a couple local fight nights coming up too. Yeah. I know that North Carolina has a commission now, which is something that we've been talking about on what feels like on this show for the entire time we've had the show, right? Yeah, so Wilmington, I think, is having the first MMA fight night. Raleigh's having the first kickboxing and Muay Thai event, or
in February,
kickboxing, really.
More kickboxing,
yeah. And we'll see where things go from there. Hopefully it means more fights in NC, fingers crossed. Do we have anybody already booked for a fight coming up?
No, well, I've got a fighter on January 28th outside of D.C. February 4th, got 4 guys in South Carolina. The 11th, got 2 on the UBG card. And
that was the one in Myrtle Beach, right?
That's Myrtle Beach, yeah. Leilani's defending her title. Aiden's making his debut. They're from Embrace, but we've just been helping them out. You know, we've always had a good working relationship.
Yeah.
I've always been like a in between for like a lot of coaches. Like, yeah, if you need some extra looks, go see Trevor and he'll.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Then February 11th, February 18th. Is Josh going to do combat jiu-jitsu, you think, on Fight For It?
They haven't talked to me about it.
Oh, okay.
The card that I have doesn't have any jiu-jitsu matches.
At all? Maybe they scratched
space for it. Yeah, it doesn't have any space for it. So.
And then the 25th is like, I know Anish said that he wanted to do the 25th, but he's already fighting back-to-back, the 28th and the 4th. So Anish is a maybe on that Lightning Strikes card. And then got a lot of people doing the East Coast Classic in March, and then Waco and WKA around the corner from that. So like we're booking stuff up.
What does the East Coast Classic mean for people who compete in that sport around this area? Is it pretty much the biggest event that you're looking for?
No. I mean, like around here for a lot of people, it has been for a while. From like what I heard, like the last one, it kind of like fizzled out a little bit. Like it was such a big one for this area for a while because there were no other fights going on.
Is it the IKF?
It's still IKF, okay. Yeah. Like the big one for the IKF is the Worlds they hold in Florida. The East Coast Classic is kind of just like, you know, definitely promotes like gyms up and down the East Coast competing against each other. So for the East Coast, it's pretty decent depending on like if the entire East Coast is there or not. Because you will get gyms from like Baltimore, New York, up from Florida. That's pretty common. And a lot of gyms have come out from like out west in California for that one. But dude, there's just more and more fights happening each year. And you know, the person running the IKF now is like really oversaturating the market with like kickboxing cards. So it's kind of taking away from people going like, oh, well, instead of me having like these possible 2 fights in one night over the next like 4 months, I can go ahead and just fight once a month.
Yeah, it seems like there's one every weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot of them coming up. So it's kind of taken away, like, I can see the East Coast Classic probably becoming like a once-a-year type thing pretty soon. Like it's, you know, like, more money, more problems. But it's not a more money thing. It's more of a, like, more fight nights, less fights on the bracket for a competition kind of thing.
Yeah, you can't spread the talent thin.
No. Yeah. So, yeah, you know, so is it big? Like, they definitely have, like, some prominent, I guess, like, East Coast titles. They hold, national title fights there and stuff like that. But they don't really have people defending them. So, I mean, you know, for people, it's a good goal to have. I'd say it's a good testing ground. Is it the bee's knees? No.
If you go to IKF, East Coast Classic, and you have a good performance, maybe you could consider like Worlds in Florida. Or
exactly, in Florida, yeah. And it's also good. It's a good introduction to like the tournament setting because they cap it at 4-man brackets Where sometimes you go to a tournament, it's like, oh fuck, there's like 12 other dudes in this bracket. No.
Yeah. I wish
Yeah.
that that's what it was like for a jiu-jitsu tournament for capping the divisions. That would be nice.
So they're definitely good to get your feet wet. I mean, like I'll tell people I definitely kind of cut my teeth through like a lot of like IKF shows and tournaments. Like early on, I've always been like on the road and stuff like that. So it's definitely good if you're local or like you're a state or two away. It's good exposure, good experience.
Now, do you like the rule set they use for those?
The rule sets are fine. It's usually like the people that have officiating over the rules and stuff like that. Like no one knows what they're doing sometimes. Is it always getting better? Yeah. But like as I've told people before, you need to make the sport focused around the sport. Not about attention, not about bragging rights. If you're trying to get attention for yourself through other people's competition, then like shame on you. And that's kind of held it back a little bit, where like they're just now really starting to address a lot of the judging and officiating problems, which it should have been addressed from the get-go.
Right.
And it's all about just staying on top. So as far as the rule sets I like. I mean, their unified rule set is a little bit different than you might find from like WKA and Waco, which is like that limited clinch rule. Like everyone kind of has a different little gray area about it, where some places are like grab and let go right away.
Yeah.
And some places like
let you play in the clinch
because it's like sometimes the ref is like, oh man, look at him throwing these knees.
Yeah,
So, like,
I mean that's how it is for Fight Night too. I mean that's how it is at Fight For It.
Yeah.
Especially. But I've seen.
And I was like
it
watching
all over.
some refs back in the day. You'd see him hit the ground in a mid fight and just be like, y'all tell me what's going on.
Yeah. Or stand them right up.
Or they'd stand up. Yeah, man. I remember Billy Dowie getting mount on a dude in a fight, and the ref went, "Nah, man, get back up. I don't know what you're doing." And you're like, "Wait, what?" Yeah.
Excuse me, what?
So like the rule sets, I think it's like definitely a good like way to get started at. But like once again, like don't ever really have faith in judges there. And there's some judges always getting better. Like some refs are always getting better, but
it's a fight game though.
It's the fight game.
You can't ever have faith in the judges anywhere.
No.
Yeah. So this UFC fight card taking place this weekend. Some canceled bouts. Some bouts that interest me a little bit. Did you see anything when you were looking through here?
I got my eyes on the Damon Jackson Dan Ige fight.
That is such a good fight.
That is the best matchup on this card.
Now, originally it was supposed to be Nasruddin Imanov versus Kelvin Gastelum.
Yes, yeah.
But Sean Strickland having to step in on late notice, and he also headlined the last card of 2022. Headlining the first card.
That's right. And you know what? I looked at that and I was like,
that's got to be the only time in UFC
this. So
history.
that was supposed to be Gastelum, and Sean's doing this at light heavyweight. Wow. So
something
what
crazy
happened to Gastelum?
happened.
I saw like a picture of him missing teeth and having staph infections on his face.
Apparently, he just has some kind of staph in his gums or something. They had to sew his teeth back on, like the shelf where his teeth sit on to the top of his gum. They had to sew all that back together. From what I read, I didn't see any pictures of it or anything.
Oh, I saw a thing of like a missing tooth. And I saw like the stuff on his face.
Right.
And I didn't know that it had gotten into his gums.
I heard that there was a big oral surgery where they had to sew his tooth shelf back up. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I've heard of people's like the bones like rotting out and like they don't know it because like a staph infection has gotten like inside from, and it's like from like something like a fingernail and like
it's like
see it. Man, like my face is sore, I guess I got hit hard. Then it's like, why do you get worse? Like, oh, your mouth is rotting out of your face.
Right.
Like, fuck.
If it's like a staph infection on your arm or on your chest, you can see it in the mirror at least. But unless you're regularly
getting hit in the face all the time, you're like, oh, my face just hurts from getting hit today.
Yeah, exactly. Man,
so Sean Strickland versus Nasruddin Imavov, not really like a big. I feel like he could have made Dan Ige, Damon Jackson. Like if they had time, they could have made that the main event.
Maybe, but honestly, I mean, Ige's the only name there, you know, and that's a fight that would be like the opener on any pay-per-view, or the prelim headliner, on a big fight night. You know, it's not exactly a very sexy main event. Neither is the new one, but at least it has Sean in it, which is the UFC. Sean is a bit of a name, at least. Yeah, you know, he does drive a little bit of internet traffic at the very, very least. So I can imagine why. Now it's at 205 also, so he doesn't have to worry.
This is like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet, but it's all just grits.
Yikes!
you know, like well, we got butter and cheese you can put on it, but like it's still grits.
But we always say that, and then these fight nights are the
always
ones
turn
that
out to be a lot of fun, man. Like
tend to have the bangers on them.
Like I'll even say, like, you know, nowadays with what the sport has turned into, like these fight nights, I still don't try to miss a fight night and stuff like that. Like, will I miss if I'm cornering stuff like that? Yeah, but I'm like, damn, you still will get like some good fights because like when I see a card like this, does it have name power? No, but it's got a lot of people that want to get name power eventually, and so at the start of the year, you can expect a lot of people to try and come out guns blazing. Is what we can hopefully look
It's not only the start of the year, it's a lot of people that are young in their UFC careers. There's a lot of guys who are coming off of the Contender Series. Umar Nurmagomedov is on here, which I know that he's someone who's like rising through bantamweight. Not necessarily someone that gets a lot of people excited, but a guy who's undefeated and a guy who usually like manhandles most of the people that he's against. He doesn't have a high finish rate, but he's one of those people that you have to keep your eye on because especially at bantamweight, a guy with his skill set can go very, very far, very, very fast.
Yeah, Punalele Soriano, fun middleweight to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he just comes in to fight the whole time. Roman Kopylov, good. I mean, that's just a good matchup to have between two guys.
Yeah, this would have been a great main event. The canceled fight between Jeff Neal and Shavkat. That would have been a sick.
That would have been a sick main event.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah, really, really bummed that fight got canceled.
It just got moved, right? They're doing it still.
Are they?
I believe so. I thought I read that somewhere.
I saw Jeff Neal.
They're still doing Jamie Pickett versus Bo Nickel.
It just got moved to March.
Yeah. It's not a good sign.
I heard it was from the injury from Bo Nickel.
Yeah, but the fact that they kept the same opponent means that they really like Jamie for him.
Like the matchup. Yeah. Man, Dan Ige and Damon Jackson, like that's the fight I really have my eyes on, like overall on this.
That's the one that has the most potential to be very good.
A fucking banger.
Yeah, on paper, a lot of these don't look very promising, especially a lot of these OV ending last names.
I think Caitlin Vieira is going to bully Raquel Pennington.
She should, right?
Yeah. I mean, Raquel Pennington, she had a good showing in her last fight, from what I remember. Like, she looked good.
She's just getting up there.
Yeah, but Caitlin, like, she's kind of beat the who's who of the when you go back and look at who she's beat. I mean, her last two wins have been Holly Holm and Miesha Tate, I believe. You know,
two former champions.
Yeah, and like she's been around it for a while. Not the biggest record, but will always fight tough. And she's always showed. I like that. Like for a Brazilian, like she's always got a very like stone face like demeanor when she fights.
Yeah.
Where like Raquel can kind of like I feel like we're gonna have to look at Raquel's face to see how she feels after that first round.
Do you know that song? That the UFC uses for all the promos, "Face the Pain."
Yes,
by Stem.
That's been going on forever.
So I'm just so curious about this song. I'm thinking about making a YouTube video about the history of it and how it came to be involved with the UFC. And I've been reading about it, and basically what it boils down to is 3 times the band has recorded a more modernized version of the song and presented it to Dana and been like. Or presented it to the UFC and been like, we know that the song is a little outdated now. We recorded newer versions that may sound a little bit more modern. And what it boils down to is Dana just likes the original. So they stay with it. And that's how I feel about Rocky.
Yeah,
I feel like Dana just likes her.
Yeah.
And no matter how bad her record is, she will probably always have a job at the UFC because
she's a yes coach kind of person.
She impressed Dana in her first couple outings, and he is like, for lack of a better word, he is very stuck in his ways about certain things. And, there's certain people that no matter what they do, they can't get on his bad side. Yeah. And I feel like she's one of them. So it doesn't really matter that she's 14-9 and that after this she'll be 14-10. I doubt she'll probably stay.
No, she's not married to the bantam and featherweight champ. She's married to another one. Is she with Tisha Torres?
Yes.
She's the one that's
she's with Torres.
Tisha Torres. Yeah.
Yeah, you're thinking of the other girl, whose last name is now Nunes.
Nunes.
I can't remember her last name.
I don't know why I'd always get sometimes Raquel Pennington and her like mixed up, and I was like, no, but Raquel's always been solid. And I was like, oh wait, no, but I think she's just always been a company person.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she finds like that benefit of just like, all right, this is like the best of the best, and if I just go ahead and do my yes or no, so like she takes a tough fight for what it is. Like she doesn't ever want an easy fight.
Yeah.
And she's always willing to play ball and bring a good fight. And that's what Dana likes. He doesn't want someone to grovel at his feet. He's just like, this is what we're offering you. Like, fight for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Umar Nurmagomedov against Raoni Barcelos. I think this is his hardest fight yet. and I'm interested to see if like he can be. I think that the difference between him and a lot of the other Dagestani style grapplers is that he allows people to go further and deeper into the rounds and he's a lot more open to damage as the fight goes on and he gets more tired. I just don't think he's fought anyone yet that can like be grappled in that way and still be not tired enough to fight still. I'd like to see that kind of play out. And the guy he's going against now is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so we're hoping that they can create a little action there. But
or he's going to get a body lock put on him and just go, I don't know what the fuck to do.
All of his fights have been like that.
Yeah.
All of his fights have been very dominantly one-sided. And it's like at lightweight and at welterweight, and then as you continue to go up, I find that style only gets more dominant the heavier you are. So I'm interested to see how somebody at 35 can hold it up. And because you have Merab, you have all these guys that are like really, really good wrestlers that are having just a little bit of trouble holding down the top guys. And obviously the two top guys in this division, Merab and Aljo, are probably the best against that kind of wrestling. But we have yet to see either of them. Yeah, we have yet to see either of them take on a Dagestani warrior.
We got Abdul Razak Hassan on the undercard. Always fun to watch.
He's great.
Yeah. He just does not give a shit.
Yeah.
That's why he's fun to watch.
I like him.
Who's Sarge Eubanks fighting?
I don't know. It doesn't say, does it?
No, it does. Okay, yeah. It just has like a blank space.
It just has like a blank slot.
So maybe Sarge Eubanks fighting. Yeah, but like this is like one of those. What was that meme that you just said in the film industry?
Fuck you, it's January.
Fight card, yeah.
Fuck you, it's January.
To me, it's a buffet of grits, but I'm still going to watch. Well, actually, I mean, I'll be in Wilmington this weekend. I got a little bit of courtcation going on.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, courtcation. Courtcation. Do you want to tell the story about why that is?
So
I never really knew exactly what happened.
Funny story about me and my brain damage. I'm pretty oblivious to a lot of stuff. And I showed up to one court hearing for an accident from my youth. And I paid fines, and apparently I was supposed to check back in with like some community service, and I just didn't.
Right.
And they were like, "Why didn't you?" And I was like totally forgot. And like, you forgot? And I'm like, I mean, this much brain damage, dude. I just, you tend to forget things, and it's like I'm not I haven't been like busted with anything serious, but they were just like, oh, that could have been like a very serious thing if you got caught doing something dumb. And I was like, well, I didn't do anything dumb. I've just been working in gyms and coaching fighters and getting hit in the head. And so yeah, like I had to do some community service stuff recently to get it cleared up. It was like an old like DUI thing. I'd paid like all the court fines
from years and years ago.
Oh, years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy how it takes so long
damn
to
near
get shit straightened out.
Well, no, apparently it doesn't exactly. It's like graduating college. It doesn't exactly take 8 years, but like it turns out it can take 8 years.
It can if you make it take 8 years.
Yeah, and so this kind of turned into like, oh man, like we went back, we just got it cleared up and got to stop in tomorrow. Like, hey, I did the community service, like I'm good to go now, and that's it. So
you gonna hang out?
Oh yeah, I'm actually like we're gonna make. That's why I said like courtcation, because it's Friday morning. So we're gonna leave. We're leaving Thursday night. Got an Airbnb like right in the middle of downtown Wilmington. We'll be in and out Friday morning, like, and then we're kind of like all day in Wilmington, like Friday and Saturday, and then just make a little courtcation out of it.
And everybody knows Brunson's. What are the other good gyms around there?
JBM. Yeah. My good buddy Jim Baglioni runs the striking there. Let's see. Coach Andre has his longtime boxing club. I don't know if it's called like 13th Street Boxing, but Coach Andre has always been there for boxing. But really, like Brunson's is it for MMA. Couple little like smaller jiu-jitsu schools have kind of like shut down in that area. Like Evolution was the big one. And then
I remember them. I remember hearing about them.
They went under. John, like Elite, went under. That was John George's spot, I think. Then there was like a 28th Street Jiu-Jitsu. I remember like some brown belts from Evolution had opened a spot, and like it happened. Like it was like right before quarantine, and like I think it went under. So like in Wilmington, really, it's like Brunson's and JVM are the two bigger spots, unless there's one that I'm completely forgetting about.
Yeah, JBM is the other one that I always hear about besides Brunson's for sure. And they even have grappling there.
They have like quite a few. I don't know who the black belt is there. But no, I know they've always had like a long-standing like striking team.
It might be Nate Feldman.
Is it Nate
It might
Feldman?
be my boy Nate Feldman. I remember him being affiliated with that JBM team.
Oh, okay,
for a
then it's
little
probably
bit.
him, yeah.
He's a black belt, and he's out of Jacksonville. I know he's out of Jacksonville.
Okay, yeah, because the owner of Martial Arts and More
Yeah.
bought out JBM,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
probably why.
Nate
yeah.
Feldman is the black belt for martial arts.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
that's
he's probably like
why.
overseeing it and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I remember JBM grapplers competing on Toro Cup and Nate being in their corner, so he may be doing a lot of the
Oh,
instructions
okay,
for
cool.
them. Yeah, that's cool.
So, I mean, I might just go pop in my buddy's spot.
Yeah, Martial Arts and More is a cool school, dude. That's like, you would really dig
Really?
that school. Honestly, you would really dig it because it's like a modern MMA gym, but it looks like an old school karate gym. And they teach karate there, but they also have MMA classes. And
Interesting.
like, it's really interesting. The owner of that place is an interesting guy who definitely really likes all forms of martial arts, whether they're
he fought
weapon based. He beat Jamie Pickett.
He beat Jamie back in the day. Yeah, why am I blanking? Dude, I'm the worst with fucking kids. Work on your head movement. Then Salty Dog. I'm an idiot.
Of course.
Salty Dog is right there in Wilmington.
How could
John
we forget?
Salter. I don't know why. I was like,
I always
why
think
is
of
there
it-
another one? But I keep thinking that they're in, because so many guys from Myrtle, like they have a really good relationship.
I always think they're in
with,
Charleston.
Salty Dog?
Yeah, because I always just forget that. Like, I just know that they're on the coast, and I'm just like, well, it's somewhere along this line.
Well, they've always had like a good relationship with like Joe Selecki and Cody and Teeny and a lot of the people from Myrtle Beach. So I keep forgetting that they're not as much like they're right in Wilmington.
Yeah.
I keep thinking they're more south, more towards like the Wilmington is up the South Carolina, North Carolina border just about. But no, yeah, like Salty Dog. I've popped over there. I haven't seen their latest spot.
It's not far from Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
It's about an hour.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like Wilmington's like pretty tight to Myrtle Beach. Yeah, I might go pop by Brunson's because I haven't seen his like spot. I know it's right there in the mall.
It's in the mall.
I don't even think that he'll be there this weekend. I think he's down.
He's never there.
Yeah.
He's never there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that Brian teaches the gi and the no gi there. And then I don't know who teaches striking when he's not there.
His brother and
Brunson's brother.
Brunson's brother does. And then I believe who else does the training over there? I don't know, but yeah, I'll probably stop by Brunson's just see if I can't hop in like an open mat or something like that. Go do some paddles with Talia.
Well, there not being too much in the way of actual fight material to talk about today,
Yeah.
I was thinking we could just talk about some MMA news that's been happening over the past couple weeks since we've been gone.
Is it Dana's newest edgy promotion for Slap League?
Now that was, I don't really have
I
any
feel like
interest
that's already
in
kind of
talking
like
about that.
passed on. A lot of people are like,
Yeah. I was thinking more like stuff from the past week. Primarily, I want to talk about Beneil Dariush. He's really having trouble finding a fight.
Oh, I thought like something major. I was like, dude, we just lost Angela Lee.
Oh, no,
like,
no,
I
no.
was like,
Dustin Poirier is being accused of ducking Beneil because he says Beneil is not a name. Or rather, he says that Beneil is not a fight that excites him or excites the fans.
because Beneil could fucking beat him.
Yeah.
Like that's like I don't blame Dustin for not wanting that fight. If Dustin, like, it would make more sense for Dustin to have a rematch with Conor again, or Michael Chandler,
Again.
or Charles Oliveira, or Islam over Beneil Dariush, because Beneil is just as not dangerous, but able to beat him like anybody else in that top 5 right now. But no one gives a shit about, like, as far as like casual fans, don't give a shit about Beneil Dariush getting that title shot. Guys like me, like, I'd love to see that guy find a way to get that title wrapped around his waist, you know. But like that's kind of like a lose-lose.
Yeah.
Like even if Dustin were to lose to Michael Chandler, he would still have star power. If you're Dustin Poirier and you lose to Beneil Dariush, people will just write you.
It's over.
They're gonna write you the fuck.
It'll be
off,
Michael
dude.
Johnson all over again.
Yeah, then it's like you might as well go start looking for bare knuckle, like the way that people will be talking about you online. You know?
Yeah. I mean,
like that's. I feel bad for Beneil, man, because he is such a dog, and he is just the most unmarketable fucking person, and not in a bad way. He's like, I love Jesus, I love my family,
I love my
and
Tesla.
I'm here to fight, and I really hope this guy is not too beat up afterwards. I will go out there and try to finish him, but I hope he can go home and have a good day
I just
after
think
the
he's
fight.
got-
I'm just like, God damn, dude! Like, say something
he's
mean.
got the best anti-wrestling, grappling in that top 5 right now. So I think he's the most interesting against Islam.
Well, he's like a really good, like, it's like he's just good at countering what people are good at.
Yeah. Now, it's like Islam
but
is here.
It's not the most, like, it's not like an explosive finish kind of, like, counter way. He just, like, shuts you down for, like, 5 rounds.
Yeah. He's high fight IQ.
High fight IQ.
High fight IQ. High
doesn't have the
game
explosion and athleticism to make him, like, follow through and finish some people that. But, like, he will negate everything you're doing. So you see people fight him, and it's like, the fuck do I do now?
Right. Yeah. You can see people
and
as the fight goes on.
He just goes like his usual fight motion just keeps him ahead. He's always striking, always being in and out. Like he's always doing the right things, and he's just making people. He just makes people just stop.
Probably pretty frustrating.
Oh, I could imagine. I watched him fight, and I'm like, dude, fuck that, man. Like, fuck being his training partner in the sense that like that just seems like awful. Like, he wouldn't hurt you, but it's like I just can't do anything to the guy. Yeah.
I think that, like, you have Islam up here, and then everybody else is in, like, this separate brain damage league where they're just trying to go back and forth having the craziest fights with each other. Gaethje, Chandler.
It's like they're all trying to call each other out. It's like, dude, fuck fighting Islam.
Yeah, fuck fighting Islam again. We all have already lost.
I say just give Beneil the shot after the best thing for the UFC to do is after the
have him
Islam,
be the backup to the Volkov.
Have him be the backup to that fight.
Yeah.
And then have him just fight the winner of that fight.
Yeah.
Like, I say go ahead and just give Beneil the shot so everyone else in that division can stop talking about him. And then, like, but honestly, if Beneil, like, he gets the title, good for him. Like, if he loses the title, here's what Beneil will do. All right, well, I'll just keep fighting until I can't fight. But, like,
I'd like to see
he
him.
deserves the shot. I feel like that dude, out of everybody in that top 5, he deserves that
If
shot.
we're not going to see him against Islam next, I want to see him against Charles Oliveira next.
Ooh, no, he already beat. No, he beat Tony. He didn't beat Charles. No, he should fight Charles. Yeah.
Maybe even on the under of that.
Ooh,
co-main.
Man, that would be awesome if they put that as like the opener for that fight card or something.
Yeah,
but no, Beneil, Dariush and Oliveira, that is like the other fight that'd be. I would like to see that fight. But man, I say, give him Oliveira, and I could see him beating Oliveira.
Yeah.
He just doesn't give a shit. I don't
the
think
grappling.
In the grappling department
would be.
Actually, I see him beating him like Oliveira against the cage. Like, he would be able to keep Oliveira so upright that he wouldn't be able to pull guard. He knows to not put his head into guillotine territory. So I could see him beating him. Remember Tim Sylvia versus Brandon Vera. Did you ever see that snoozer of a fight?
Yeah.
Like, the first, like, people were like, oh, this is the first fight to win via, like, stand and pray. Where, like, you just bully someone against the cage for, like, 15 minutes. I could see Beneil doing that to, like, Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, Tim Sylvia's... His fights have not aged well. I can't think of a single good fight he's been in. Now that we're all
I feel bad for Tim because like he wasn't a bad guy. He was just kind of like a dopey dude. And he's like, guys, I just want to fucking fight.
Literally, all I think about.
Why don't you like me?
Literally,
like,
all I
think
about
of Tim Sylvia.
When I think about Tim Sylvia, all I think about is that promo where Andre Arlovsky's like, "How tastes my pee pee?" How tastes my pee pee?
One of the biggest drama in the UFC, like, dude, UFC drama used to be like watching like an MTV reality show where it's like so and so is dating so and so now, and it's like, god damn, dudes, can you guys stop dating porn?
Honestly,
you guys stop dating porn stars? Like, can you please stop?
Through my research of this "Face the Pain" song and situation, I've learned many things about the UFC's like fringeness and weirdness.
That's such a fringe sport.
Is by design.
Yeah.
It was like, when Dana took over the UFC, he had a mission to change it, but not change it too much. He was like, I want to make it slightly more available nationally, but I don't want to change much more else about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's always kept this like alternative, much like the music he chose for, that time, it's kept this like alternative sport nature to it. I know a lot of people who like UFC who don't train and also don't watch any other sports.
Yes.
They only like UFC. They don't like boxing. They wouldn't watch a Muay Thai fight if you paid them.
Yep.
But they like the UFC. There's something about the product.
It's like trying to get a football fan that doesn't watch football to watch soccer and vice versa.
Correct.
Like, they've never played it, but they fucking watch it.
Yeah, the casual market for the UFC is very interesting. It's something that they have cultivated, like, over time. And that's why when something like this thing with Dana White happens, I don't want to talk too much about what happened between Dana and his wife, but when it does happen, you can see that there's an overwhelming majority support for Dana because this is the fan base that he has carefully crafted and cultivated over many, many years to be exactly the fan base that he needs for his product. And they're the fans that he needs for himself, too. He doesn't realize that until something like this happens, but they like the product and they like him because they see a little bit of themselves in him. A hyper-successful version of the guy that they want to be, basically. And, I think that... I think that's one of the most interesting parts, especially about that era of the UFC, when it was just becoming mainstream, and Andrei Arlovsky and these guys, Tito Ortiz, were becoming household names.
Have you seen the old throwback episodes of where they try to, like, I know Luke Rockhold was on like that Millionaire Matchmaker. Did you ever see that shit?
Yes.
So that's a horrible thing to go back and watch. But like an even older thing was MTV used to do like this other kind of like cheesy blind dating show.
Yeah.
And one time they got like all UFC fighters, and it was the most awkward fucking thing. So they had Tim Sylvia, Tiki Goshen.
Oh my God.
Oh, I know. I mean, it was like a throwback of motherfuckers. Tiki Goshen, and I think it wasn't Sean Shirk. There was like some other little like it wasn't Sean Shirk. I thought of like Sean Shirk. Like when I think of like small awkward person,
you literally have like Tiki, who's like this like giant of a man. Tim Sylvia, who's a
Tiki's tiny.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of Rampage. Tiki is his manager.
And there was
Tim is a giant.
I think it was Josh Berkman was like the other dude they had on there as like these guys like just going on dates, like these like blind dates, and this woman like, so what do you do? I like to fight, and it's like they're trying to talk about like how cool fighting is, but they're so awkward with women. Right, you're like, oh my fuck, what is happening?
See, I think it would be cool to have somebody like Tatiana Suarez on The Bachelorette, like, you know, she's somebody who could get it done. But you'd have to pick one fighter instead of having like a normal girl or a normal guy.
See, that would be really. I'd be really interested to see like how like this absolute alpha female handles like a bunch of like tech bros, exec bros, finance bros.
But she's just normal enough to not be weird for 8 episodes.
Oh, right? Yeah, because she's like, I have to find something interesting about you, and it's not the money. Like, impress me now.
Exactly,
like, yeah.
I think that would be much more interesting. Or even Valentina. Valentina's still single, from what I understand.
Man.
Can you imagine a season long of The Bachelorette, Valentina, where she's like teaching these guys how to do those crazy dances?
She would pick the most effeminate, non-masculine, like Baker type dude I could feel. Like if they threw in,
looks like K-pop star.
If they threw in like the wild card as like an artistic Baker, I was very soft. Valentina would be like, this is my partner for life. Don't worry, I handle the murder. You make me fresh baked goods. I go now. Bye. Slaps him on the ass and leaves. Like she's like, a competition over. His men make me food. I
just want to see her try to teach the Kazakhstan dancing to the guys.
Have her take a bunch of dudes that have never fired guns to a gun range. Bunch of dudes crying, this hurts my ears!
It's literally just a bunch of fucking tech dudes. Like, there's not a single guy with a tattoo amongst them, you know? Like, there's literally, like, the softest dudes and the hardest fucking woman on earth. That would be so fucking funny, man. Khabib retiring from coaching now.
Shocking. That was a big shocking thing to hear.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Especially, like, is the Islam Volk fight going to be his last one, or is he done now? We don't really know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it says he's walking away from everything.
That's insane.
That's pretty crazy to me. I mean, he seemed like he was a better coach than he was a fighter somehow.
Yeah, really, no kidding. Like, what we were starting to see is, like, the Khabib era of coaching. A lot of people were like, oh, fuck.
Yeah,
like, this is not looking good for the next
It was bad enough we only had one of these motherfuckers.
I know,
and then now all of a sudden we've got 8. But now it seems like he's going to just retreat up into the mountains. And,
that is insane.
And maybe he pops back out in a couple years with a kid or something, and you know, Khabib Jr. is he won't coach again until his son asks him to coach.
We can see that. Well, he already has a whole. He has a whole gaggle of kids.
I made a promise to son.
He already has like 6 or 7 kids.
Yeah, he's got a lot. You'd think maybe one of them out of all of them might want to fight.
Yeah.
Because what else are they going to do?
This is my daughter. She wrestles Puma, so she fight now.
Father, I don't want to spend the rest of my life giving a bowl cut to all the sheep on the farm.
Papa, I want to wrestle this sheep. Ah, damn it. Damn it.
Khabib just looks... Never again.
Just
brother.
stares in disappointment.
Never again, brother.
Who that? Oh.
Some girl picking up her
Oh,
dog from grooming, I imagine. Hometown's right next to a groomer, so we often see a lot of dogs.
You will see like
walk by here.
Some dudes like in the middle of full Muay Thai sparring, like the whole room will just stop and look out and be like, dog? Fluffy toy pet? Like, yeah.
Yeah, luckily, every now and then they get their fix when you bring in
Chance.
When
Yeah, when I bring in
Chance,
Chance,
yeah.
everything is calm, everything is right in the world.
Tatiana Suarez is coming back to the UFC.
Oh, she is?
Yeah.
Oh.
She's fighting that girl that you said the UFC hates because she keeps getting matchups like Tatiana Suarez. Hold on, let me.
What, Betch Kohea?
No. The new Betch.
Did they dig up Betch Kohea?
They booked her a fight. Montana de la Rosa.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
because she is the one that bailed on the title.
Yeah.
She won the Ultimate Fighter season, and she wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
Then she didn't defend it, and so they just keep giving her like absolute monsters like once a year. Like they've like dragged out her contract enough, I think, to make her miserable.
Oh, is that her?
I think that's Montana De La Rosa. Isn't that her?
Oh.
Or am I getting my Montanas mixed up? Or is this De La Rosa whose husband also fights in the UFC?
Let's look
From
at
the
it.
fighting De La Rosas, it's either this person
She's from Fort Worth.
or she's not the. Oh no, I'm thinking of someone else.
You're thinking of the girl who won the belt on Tough
Yes.
and then disappeared.
Yeah.
God, what was that girl's name?
Well, she gone now. Like, yeah, Montana De La Rosa. Like, her husband. She and her husband have fought on the same card together, and like they coach each other.
Oh my God, what is the name of that girl that first won the flyweight belt on Tough? It's so funny because she was the most hated person in all of MMA for so long.
For so long.
It's like we think about this weight class and we just think, oh yeah, Valentina's always been the champ, but no, Nico Montano. Montano, yeah. Nico Montano. Yeah, holy shit.
I keep forgetting all these fighter names because I'm like, all right, I currently have 80 people that pay me every month.
Is she even with the UFC?
I don't know what she does anymore.
Let's look it up. I think she was released a long time ago.
She's a school counselor somewhere now.
Nico Montano. What happened to Nico Montano? She was released August 3rd, 2021 by the UFC, hasn't fought since. Man, can you imagine being so scared of Valentina that you just never fight in MMA again? You win. I mean, that is a nice way to go out, though. I was the first female flyweight champion, and I'm out. And I'm out.
Bye. I'm good. Yeah, she refused to fight Valentina. And they're like, dude, no, you can't just do that.
That was interesting. That was an interesting time period in the UFC for sure.
The UFC is like, and it's funny, like it is still such a new sport that it's like crazy shit like that is always going to keep happening though. There are just so many more things that can go wrong in MMA that will always be happening, I think.
Anything else interesting going on? Oh, Bellator's going to do a lightweight Grand Prix with Usman Nurmagomedov, Patricky Pitbull, Tofik Musayev, Benson Henderson, Alex Shabili, Sidney Outlaw, AJ McKee, Mansour Bernari. AJ McKee, you'd think, is the favorite for that. Patricky Pitbull, obviously, you can't ever count him out.
ONE FC just announced a 16-man open weight Muay Thai tournament.
What? Oh, that's literally the next headline down.
Oh, really?
Chatri announces 16-fighter open weight Muay Thai Grand Prix for $1 million this year. Dude, that's big for the sport.
Huge for the sport of Muay Thai.
So what does that mean? Like, as somebody who's been following Muay Thai for a very long time, and, you know, as an outsider looking into it, it seems like it's had brief stints of popularity that lasts like a year, and then it kind of goes back to its status quo.
In the U.S., whichever champion is the most dominant in the UFC, that sport behind them quickly grows.
Sambo right now. Right now.
But like you look at like Anderson Silva created a big explosion in Muay Thai. Israel's created a big explosion in Muay Thai and kickboxing.
For sure.
So it's kind of like who's the current champion. And, like you'll see like other like kickboxing promotions like go up and down based, but that's just like the MMA is like the number one thing in the U.S. man. Like it is. Like as someone who's followed kickboxing for a long time, this goes back to a lot of the old like K1. So Muay Thai has always been just a much more traditional sport. They've never done like they've had big fights throughout the years and stuff like that. They've never had a big tournament like this. Now, kickboxing, it's much more common in like K1 back in the day. They would do open weight tournaments like this. No $1 million on the line, but like it would be the who's who from like MMA and kickboxing fighting each other.
Now, with the way that Muay Thai works compared to MMA, there's not really a lot of locking the athletes down for multiple years, multiple fights.
It's a lot more.
So we could see a lot of people come out for this that are that have never fought and won.
Yes, and that's also like that's a really good thing about it is that there's no crazy clauses or lockdowns of competitors. Like they're all just like, just fight. And that's why you see those guys have like 400 or 500 fights because they're all just like, if you have the Ramjadir title, like you're not just stuck fighting at that one venue for the rest of your life. It's like, all right, go fight everywhere, please.
Yeah, because it adds more value to the champion when he can go to other championships and win them or fight their champion and win. Yeah. It adds more value to your promotion. The reason we were talking about it last Friday when we did our Fight Rewind night here at the gym is the reason why Dana doesn't do it is because he did it with Chuck and Chuck got his ass beat. Yes. And he was like, never again.
Never again.
But Bellator versus One was awesome. Yeah. You know, that was an awesome card.
Bellator versus Risen.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that was awesome. AJ McKee coming out in the $30,000 samurai armor. That shit was fun. I mean, that's like a fun, old school throwback event. Not all the fights were amazing. Pitbull, I'm looking at you, but they were for the most part very entertaining at least. I'm interested to see. I think that One has done a lot for the other combat rule sets, kickboxing, but Muay Thai especially. Yeah, and they've basically created Stan Fairtex's popularity.
Yes, and the cool thing about Chatri is like him having a U.S. business degree, along with a history of growing up in the Sichuan Muay Thai
I wonder how much of what he says is bullshit.
About what?
About how many people watch One, and about how much money One makes.
I have a feeling like it's
because he says that One is like the most. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You also look at they run all their stuff out of the poorest place in the world. Yeah. So they can afford to do all these big shows on a fraction of the UFC's budget. So they are still getting money. I know this Amazon deal is definitely filling their pockets.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Like, so I'm certain that they are getting more U.S. advertising rights, like they are probably the equivalent of billionaires for like
that area.
Okay. Not like Saudi billionaires or American billionaires, but like.
But 1 billion people aren't watching a one card.
Are 1 billion people watching a one card at once?
That's what he said. He said it was something like 900 million.
Honestly, because of how much it's also in the U.S., it is way harder to watch fights than anywhere else. Like, if there's one thing to think about is that, just because there's not every person, and like this is also an American mindset, just because we're not all watching it doesn't mean everyone else isn't.
Right.
So they definitely have a big pulling on also the most populated side of the world. If you look at our population here, their population there, they just have the higher viewing market because of population.
And it's free to watch.
It's free to watch. Yeah. And it's also everywhere there. Like in foreign countries like Thailand, like, they have TV, like their basic cable is like, this is the Muay Thai channel. Like, these are all the Muay Thai fights happening today because every day of the week there's Muay Thai fights going on. So are they honestly getting hundreds of millions of people to watch each event? Yes, probably. And it's probably all hundreds of millions of people. Like, you might see like maybe 1 million people from the U.S. watching it, but you'll see that number grow the farther you get away from it, especially over there, then everyone's watching it.
I definitely think that in the past year, specifically 2022,
have 900 million people watched it, yes.
One has really blown up in the U.S.
Yes.
It was around for the past like 4 or 5 years and been steadily rising in popularity, especially when it comes to the Eastern market, but getting on Amazon and getting the cards aired in a time window that's viable for American viewers was very, very big for them, in my opinion. And I think
that was the first time I got to watch a one show live. To be honest, like I mean, when I was younger, I would get up and watch a Pride fight at like 3 in the morning. But now I'm like, fuck that.
I think
like,
Stamp fights Friday. I think they're doing a show this Friday.
Yeah,
they're doing the mixed rules fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that. I really like the product.
They've got their U.S. show coming to Colorado.
This
year.
Yeah, DJ's fighting there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That'll be good for them.
They've
been trying to get a
Fernandez.
one. Yeah, number 3, right? Because they were 1-1 now.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, DJ, and they're having a good little trilogy over there.
I will probably say, Chatri is looking at numbers. He probably calculates from live to new views like 1 week later, as far as like, between people that are watching it live. And then he's like, you'll still see like with these like overnight cards, like with like the time disparities, you'll see that number still rise throughout the week because people will wait 1 or 2 days later to then go back and watch the whole event. I think that's where he's getting it. So like 900 million people at once. No, definitely probably, I would say probably like the range of like 300 to 400 million people at once are guaranteed watching it. And then by the end of the week, because so much wild shit is happening, people are going back. So will one event probably have 900 million views? Yeah, easily. Like some of their YouTube videos are over time. Like you can probably go up and be like, yeah, see, 900 million different people have watched this. It just took like a month. Okay. Are 900 million people watching at once? I don't think so.
Oh, I forgot to mention we were talking about non-compete clauses.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that the U.S. government is thinking about abolishing that as a practice?
Clauses.
Like when you sign a contract with someone and they say, if we terminate your contract, you cannot sign a new contract for a similar industry within X amount of days. Basically, if you work at...
Or like also like, hey, if you're working here, you can't just quit and open up the same kind of business.
Right.
A similar business down the street.
So like, for instance, like if you worked at a sandwich shop and you were a delivery driver, which they used to be, I don't know if it's still like this, back when I was a delivery driver, it would sometimes be contract-based. And you wouldn't be able to go drive for another sandwich shop that was in like 3 mile radius or whatever the case may be, right? That is something that could broadly apply to the like contracting system for the U.S. totally, but the way it affects fighters, particularly UFC fighters, is very interesting because the champions clause would basically be null and void. Exactly.
Yeah.
It could vary if they decide to do that, if they decide to pass necessary regulations to get rid of them, it could definitely change the face of MMA.
Yeah.
Instantly, overnight.
I didn't hear about that. I kind of stay in my own lane about like what my guys are doing, like what's going on.
Well, that's a very broad political issue, right? So, like, I didn't have any interest in it or know anything about it really until it was brought up to me later. So, guys, we went over a little bit on our time, so we are out of time today. It's time for Trevor to teach some karate.
We should let's get our good friend Josh Harvey Birdman, attorney at law, to like come on here and talk about like these contract clauses. I think that could be
that would be cool.
Some insight,
I don't know what type of law he is an expert in, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Good luck to Josh this weekend competing in his first jiu-jitsu tournament.
That's right.
This should be a lot of fun. So until next week, guys, this is the 10-8 Fightcast. We will see you next time. Until then, enjoy yourselves.